Brace yourselves, everyone. Deep breath. We have a clip I want to share with you that I want to talk about and want to react to because I think it's really important regarding the overall discourse. The overall discourse, to use Annie Costabal's word, which is who we're going to be listening to, regarding Caitlin Clark and the WNBA and why it's a massive problem, a massive stumbling block, obstacle, if you will, in terms of the WNBA actually taking the next step forward and becoming a real professional league. Until this stuff changes, that is never going to happen. And listening to people like Annie, it makes me lean toward the fact that that is never going to happen. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this. Man, sorry, I'm trying to prepare myself mentally because I've listened to it, obviously. And man, just the sound of it makes my ears bleed. Anyway, let's go.
The WNBA is a collection of women, of queer women, of Black women. And these are the individuals who are most attacked in the world. It's easiest to express this vitriol to these groups of people. We don't see this level of vitriol expressed towards men, and quite frankly, like in the same way, never.
Okay, so all of this is victimhood gibberish. Okay, none of this is actually true. This is Annie's feelings. Okay, because this is the way Annie's been brought up, the way Annie's been brainwashed, the way Annie's been conditioned. That everything is through a lens of oppression and everything is about being the victim, and anyone who disagrees with Annie are the oppressors, and she is victimized no matter what she says, no matter what she does. And when I say Annie, I'm also talking in general, right? Because this is how the WNBA is, and this is what she's talking about. We can't have a conversation about the poor officiating and the treatment of Caitlin Clark and what Alyssa Thomas did as being completely wrong and a dirty play, because we have to look at it as Alyssa Thomas is the victim because of these things that Annie is saying. Now, my question to Annie would be, as I say to everyone, because when it's at all possible, when it's not just me speculating, which I always make clear I am, or an opinion on something, I bring facts, I bring receipts to back up what I'm saying. And I'm finally asking Annie, do the same. I mean, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Because you're giving me your feelings to paint yourself and to paint Alyssa Thomas and to paint the WNBA players as victims. But I would like a little proof. Who is attacking them? And in what way? I mean, I received some unbelievable vitriol the other day from Caitlin Clark fans for the simple comment of saying if Caitlin Clark has a lower back injury, she should not be sitting on the bench at games. Wow, that got people riled up. And I can give you the proof on that. But it's not actual real fans. No real fans are going after Alyssa Thomas or anyone in the WNBA for their orientation. It's not YouTube creators like myself. None of us are going after any of these players for their orientation. So could you please, when you're going to make such a disgusting accusation, please come with a few receipts? Because you know who actually keeps this narrative going, who actually brings this stuff all up all the time, it's people like yourself, Annie. It's the WNBA media. It's the WNBA players who are constantly bringing this up. There's no one actually saying these things or doing these things. You're the one making the accusation based on nothing because you want to shut up the opposition. You want to shut up the other side because you can't have a substantive debate. Hey, I did it. Substantive. That's a tough word, y'all. Try it. You manufacture all of this divisive stuff. You manufacture misogyny and sexism and homophobia and racism and all these other buzzwords that you use to paint yourself as the victim so that you can get your way, so that you can stop other people from talking. But guess what? No one's scared of it anymore. We're over it. We're done. We're exhausted. We know that it means nothing, and we know that it doesn't really matter when people like yourself attack us with these words. So I am never going to sit here and try and justify my position based on your framing of the narrative with these accusations because I know it's not me. And I know you can't bring proof about any credible fan or any credible YouTuber or anyone that you're supposedly talking about who is saying these things or attacking people for this reason. All right, let's keep going. I hope Annie's okay.
Or it's just not as common. And I've talked
By the way, with the well, I'll let her get to this next point.
to people who cover other leagues, who are in other leagues, and they themselves are talking about these issues not being ones that they need to grapple with. And so I think
So a couple of things here. If we're talking about nasty vitriol and so on and so forth, and all of you who are actually who are I don't sorry, I didn't mean actual sports fans. I don't want to make it sound like I'm disparaging Caitlin Clark fans if you got into sports because of Caitlin Clark. But I mean, what I mean, the actual sports fans, I mean, sports fans who have been sports fans before Caitlin Clark, whether it's basketball or other sports. You've been lifelong sports fans. You understand, rivalries and fan passions and all of that. And if you're into any of these leagues like the NBA in any deep way at all, the vitriol is nasty. NFL, NBA, NHL. I mean, so this is nothing unique to the WNBA at all. It is a lie to say that it is. And I get that with the WNBA a lot. And I think that's part of the problem is people like Annie are in this bubble. They've never experienced, they've never been exposed to sports. They've never been exposed to real sports fandoms other than what they get in the WNBA. And the WNBA, never having had sports fans, has no idea how to handle actual sports fans, so they play victim because they've always just been a social gathering. Basketball was the excuse. They got the NBA to foot the bill so they could have their parties. That's what it's always been. Now they have real eyes and there are real expectations, and they're failing miserably. Now, if you're going to talk about, oh, this doesn't happen in other leagues when you're talking about orientation and that sort of thing, you're right, because other leagues aren't, 65% gay or lesbian or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that as, I don't mean that in a negative, mean way. I'm just saying those leagues don't have that to deal with.
that discourse takes away from the greatness of the game, because this game can't just be a game. These moments can't just be tense moments between competitors, because it always blows up into what we're seeing now, which is, again, really ugly discourse. And
And I'm going to stop you there. Again, let me make clear what this is. Let's take a little trip back. Hop in the time machine, hop in the DeLorean. Let's go back to Caitlin Clark at Iowa. Do y'all remember any of this at Iowa? Were we all doing all this screaming and defending of Caitlin Clark with these vicious attacks and all these things being said about you and being said about her and the way she was officiated and all of that? The answer is no. I mean, in case you've been on a bender since, and I can understand why you would be on a bender since Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA. And why is that? Because none of the stuff from the other side was happening, right? This isn't driven by Caitlin Clark fans. Caitlin Clark fans, Annie, are reacting to all of this stuff that's going on since she entered the WNBA. This wasn't happening in college. And you can even go back, if you want to talk about fraud, you can see a lot of people who were heaping praise on Caitlin Clark at Iowa that are now attacking her and attacking her fans. They weren't doing that when she was at Iowa. So the treatment of Caitlin Clark and the treatment of Caitlin Clark's fans has changed dramatically since she entered the WNBA. And her fans, who just did nothing but enjoy her basketball for 4 years at Iowa, finally found themselves in a completely different world, constantly under attack, as is Caitlin Clark, and having to defend themselves for all these baseless accusations that we just covered. They're racist, they're sexist, they don't like gay people, and on and on and on, which is all complete BS. And guess what? Damn right they're going to defend themselves from that kind of crap. Are you kidding me? So once again, you do the thing that causes the reaction, and then you're the victim of the reaction for getting the initial thing that happened. Playbook.
players at the center of it. Like when you think about Alyssa Thomas, right? This was a foul that should have been addressed The league addressed it, and you know the world keeps moving. But now Alyssa Thomas is on the receiving end of racist comments on social media, hateful comments on social media, that it gets to a level it just shouldn't ever get to. And for what? For what? In defense of Caitlin Clark?
Go back to again. Can you give me those? I want to see because again, social media is all she's talking about. So I want to see legitimate posts from actual people, not bots, not little weirdos in their basement with 4 followers. I want to see actual people, actual Caitlin Clark fans. I want to see those receipts of this happening. And by the way, again, it goes back to the reaction is to the fact that y'all, like you're doing now, are trying to paint Alyssa Thomas, the dirtiest player in the WNBA, who attacked and assaulted Caitlin Clark. You're trying to paint her as the victim of what happened. And yes, people are reacting to that, Annie. And yes, they're going to say nasty things about Alyssa Thomas because she's a nasty person. This is someone who, again, one of those people. Remember when she said, "Hey, I believe Angel Reese," when Angel Reese made up those lies about Caitlin Clark's fans in the opening game of 2025 yelling racial slurs at her? Alyssa Thomas said, "Oh, I believe them." Right? So and that's not the first time. She has also said before that she heard them herself in another game. So Alyssa Thomas has lied multiple times trying to smear the entire Caitlin Clark fan base as racist. And now she's attacked Caitlin Clark, put her fist in her throat, kneed her in the groin, stepped on her, and somehow Alyssa Thomas is the victim? No, people are not going to be quiet for that. And yeah, they're going to have some things to say, like I just did. Alyssa Thomas is a terrible human being. She's a dirty player. She's a thug. Hate to break it to you, Annie. That's not vitriol. That's fact. And I have every right to say it because Alyssa Thomas has proven it with her behavior. But I want those receipts, Annie. Bring them to me or shut up and sit down, be quiet, and let the adults continue the conversation.
That's not something Caitlin Clark wants to see other people in the league going through. So it's just, it's something that I keep hoping and praying levels off, but I haven't seen that yet. The WNBA.
You don't, though. You don't hope that it stops and levels off because you're the one driving it. You need to drive it because you need the engagement. You need the clicks. You need it to survive because without it, the WNBA goes back to what it was before, and that is irrelevant. No one's watching. By the way, and I might actually, I think this will probably be in another game. I might talk about it a little more, but just in case I don't get to it, because I'm not going to do an entire video on it. Uh, Liberty, I think it was Liberty, right? One of the actual few popular teams now in the WNBA played the Aces with Asia Wilson, who I keep hearing is the face. On I think that was the 23rd or the 24th, right? I think it was the last Tuesday night on the USA Network. Drew 394,000 people. Caitlin Clark, I believe they played 3 games now. Both Phoenix games were around 940 plus thousand people, and of course the Tempo game was 1 million. Aces Liberty, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, 394,000 fans. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate it. Y'all know the drill. I will talk to you later.